Hey guys, Vas here from Aussie Playground and welcome to another unboxing. Today we're going to be unboxing a rally car, a 1/8 scale rally car. Even more specifically than that, the Hobby King 1/8 scale rally car from their BSR or Basher series. I have to admit, I've never actually had a 1/8 scale rally car in the past, so this is going to be my first, which should be fun. The good thing about rally cars, especially 1/8 scale rally cars, is that they are in fact based on 1/8 scale buggy chassis. So you know that they're usually pretty durable and they can take a bit of a beating. But they do sit a little bit lower to the ground, so before you start thinking that you're going to be, taking some massive jumps, you are going to have a front foam bumper. You're going to have a body that's going to sit a lot lower to the ground as well, so you're going to be scraping things. You have to be really careful about where you run these cars. So this particular chassis is actually based on an old buggy that I had a couple of years ago from Ofna, which was the Ofna Buggy8. I'm not sure if that buggy's still around anymore. I think it may have actually been discontinued. But Team C have actually got the exact same buggy with a few extra upgrades. Hobby King have now grabbed that same chassis from some OEM, I don't know who makes these things, and this is the exact same car. Now, when I reviewed my Buggy8, I have to admit, I didn't really favor it too much. There was a few things that went wrong with it, but I think perhaps there's actually been a couple of improvements on this one. And being a slightly different platform, not being a 1/8 scale buggy, you have a great big body on it now. This might actually work out a little bit better. So we'll see how we go. All right, now I'm going to do this the traditional way because I think sometimes people get a little bit peeved at me for just kicking the box out of the way and not actually unboxing things the way that they should be unboxed. So here it is. This is an unboxing. Me struggling to get this thing out of the box. Might actually put this on the ground, might be easier. Here we go, look, just come straight out. So there's this sleeve, we'll get rid of that. Oh wow, black box, how awesome. This is upside down actually, so let's bring it over this way. Okay, take this out. All right, that's what you see, which isn't much. Let me take this off here. We'll get rid of that, throw that over there. All right, here is the car itself. All right, first thing in my hand here is the manual, which is in a sealed, no, it's actually not sealed. It's a zip tie bag, actually. Antenna tube, great big long one. I don't usually use big antenna tubes like this anymore. One of these actually can do about 4 cars, because I tend to cut them up into little bits. This is a white one, it's not black, that's a plus. We have a series connector. Series connector. So that way you can run 2 2S packs. We have some preload spacers, a couple of servo horns. Hey, not bad, good. Preload spacers means that these are not threaded body chocks, I'm assuming. Now, there's a little instruction manual here for the remote. The remote's really tiny. This is one of the things that I really do not like about this package. This is a ready-to-run vehicle, so it does come with a remote, but I'm not a fan of the remote. In fact, I'm going to say that I'm probably going to be swapping it out almost immediately before I even run the car because I can't deal with the remote that they've included. There's also a little binding plug in there as well. And of course you have the user manual, which has pretty good illustrations. It looks to be okay. Wow, a lot of pages, a lot of information. Looks like they've done everything here. There is a quick picture of the remote. Hopefully you can see that, but I'll show you what it looks like in real life. It's in this box right here. That's it there. Now I got this one as well when I unboxed the Hobby King Sandstorm, and you know what? For about 100 and I think 150 bucks, that car comes with ready to run, and it's a small 2-wheel drive car. Ideally, it's more aimed at like kids, really. If you're just mucking around in your backyard or a small space, because although it is pretty zippy, it's not really made to go out huge jumps and have massive speed runs with it. Plus it uses a very tiny battery. A remote like this with a car like that makes sense. A remote like this with a car like this makes no sense to me. This, I'm sorry Hobby King, I really do not like these remotes. They have steering trim, they've got throttle trim, they've also got steering dual rate, which is this little sort of turning wheel, little wheel just there. Has an on and off switch, and it has a 3rd channel, which is kind of weird. The batteries runs actually on 4 AAA batteries, not AA's, and it has this kind of like handgun type of release mechanism going on over here. So you just click that into place. Yeah, this is going to be replaced almost immediately, I think. Now, the car itself. Oh wow, this thing is huge. It's funny because it's a 1/8 scale buggy chassis, but honestly, when you see this thing up close, it is so big. It just has this presence that is just absolutely huge. So yeah, cool things I'm noticing straight away. It's got mirrors, which is, wow, okay, it has mirrors. Hopefully these don't snap off too soon. I've also got a couple of little sort of aerials that have been squished by the box. Word to the wise, it would have been nice if they had these aerials kind of in the parts bag so that I could put them on myself, because now they're kind of curved and bent. Why would you do that? So let's take the plastic off this thing. There it is, brand spanking new Basher 1/8 scale rally. I'll also take this one off the wing here. Yeah, see, this is a traditional unboxing. I do everything. Take it out of the box, remove the plastics. Wow, it's even got windscreen wipers, I just noticed. Wow, they've gone to town on the detail with this thing. So here we are. There it is, up close and personal. Really nice looking body. I don't mind the paint scheme at all. There's my little wipers. You can see the mirrors pre-mounted already on there. Although I think this one was a little bit crooked. Little bonnet, sort of roof scoop, which is fake. It's just a plastic piece. There's my buckled antennas. Hang on, let me see if I can get the camera to focus in on this properly. Focus. There we go. All right. Rear spoiler. Very much rally-esque type of car. It's even got these little fins on the bottom here, which is quite nice. I honestly, say what you want about rally cars and what have you, this actually looks really good. I'm really impressed. I think it's based on a Ford Fiesta. Pretty sure that's what it's based on, but they didn't obviously pay for the licensing to have the Ford badging on here, so they've made a couple of little things to make it look a bit different, just so they don't get sued, I would assume. But it is very much based on a Ford Fiesta. So, taking the body off. Body actually has some weight to it. Maybe it's because it's so big. Okay, so everything's kind of bolted into place. The mirrors are actually screwed in. The wipers are screwed in. The little bonnet scoop looks like it's screwed in as well. Everything's bolted on, so there's no like clipped on little bits that'll just fall off. Everything's got screws on it, which probably also explains the extra weight of the car. Looks like the bottom bit of the spoiler may need some plastic removed off it as well. Have to look at that later on. Yeah, okay. We'll see how this guy holds up. I have been wrong before about, you know, bodies that feel okay and then they shatter. Hopefully this is not one of those PVC bodies that when it gets hit with a rock, it just splits and splinters. Hopefully this actually can take a little bit of abuse. But, you know, time will tell. Okay, before I bring the car up, there is something that I noticed about this car which I had no idea was like this, and that is these tires. These tires, I'm actually probably going to start using these for speed runs, because they are full rubber tires. There are no foams in here. They are super hard. Well, I mean, they got a little bit of softness to them, but given that they are not sort of hollow, it's a solid piece of rubber wrapped around the wheel. Okay, good. The camera's focused by itself. That's nice. So there's your tires and your pattern there. That's what it all looks like. And they are really, really good. I think they're going to be awesome for speed runs. That's my prediction. But, okay, we'll see how we go. Suspension. It's okay. It's okay. Look, you know what? For a rally car, I can't really compare this to a buggy as such, or a monster truck, which I unbox all the time, or even a short course truck for that matter. This actually, you know, it's a little bit stiff. I will say, it does have a little bit of stiffness to it. Feels like it's under-dampened and oversprung. That's what it feels like. So there's not a lot of travel on this. It's probably a little bit bouncy, but look, it might be okay. I think it'll be all right. We'll see how it all pans out. I do like the overall first impressions of this. Just looking at the car actually is very nice. let's have a quick look at the chassis layout here. So that's what it all looks like. You've got batteries on either side, so two 2S packs. Does have a, I think it's a Trackstar rebranded, maybe, or maybe it is a Trackstar, 120 amp ESC. This doesn't look like a Hobby Wing thing. Definitely looks like something from Hobby King. The motor, it is a 2100 kV, and it looks like a 4070, no, I think it's a 4066 or 65. So it's about the same size as like your, if you guys are familiar with the armor vehicles, looks very much identical to that. I'll have to measure it up, but I don't think it's a 74 mil. Steering servo, 6 kilogram Metal Gear steering servo. Metal Gear is good, so hopefully it won't strip. But as far as speed and torque, well, that obviously remains to be seen. Receiver box is in here. Now, I do believe that this is all waterproof, so should be okay to splash through a puddle or two, maybe even use it in snow conditions, so you should be fine. Huge front foam bumper right here. The shocks are aluminium bodied, and as I said, they use preload spacers. A couple of these have already got preload spacers on them, and you can see the springs are actually, hang on, let me get the camera to do its job. There we go. You can see the springs are actually short a little bit. So when the car actually sits down, that's when it compresses. Sorry, my hand's in the way. When the car sits down, that's when it actually compresses and the spring starts to work. But there's actually quite a fair bit of slack. So those preload spacers will probably come in handy. It does have droop screws already pre-installed as well. So by using a combination of the preload spacers, you can actually raise and lower the body or the overall height of the chassis. So if you do require a little bit more ground clearance, you put some more preload spacers in there, undo your droop screws so that you can really get the chassis up nice and high, obviously for rougher terrains and so forth. You have really quite beefy steering links on the front, and you've even got adjustable camber links on the rear, which is nice. Adjustable body posts front and rear, and the rear body posts are actually aluminium. These little guys here, they're actually aluminium. They're not plastic. They're mounted onto a plastic brace, but these are actually, this bit here is actually aluminium, it looks like. So very nice. I do like that. I think that's a nice touch. Of course, this uses Mod 1 pinion gears. It has already an aluminium. Wow, this is something if I remember correctly, the Buggy8 had a plastic, this piece here, which I think it's a bearing housing thing for your center diff. That I believe was plastic, and one of my bearings went out. I've just noticed that this is actually aluminium. So it's a nice upgrade, I think, over the Buggy8. From memory, I think it was plastic. Adjustable motor mount, which is good, of course. It would have that. Front and rear sway bars already pre-installed. I never really had an issue with the A-arms from the Ofna car, and I don't think I'm going to have an issue with the A-arms on this thing. I think it'll be just fine. The biggest problem, and something that I was hoping that Hobby King had perhaps improved on this, is that if you have a close look here, and I'm going to see if the camera will focus in on this. There we go. Okay, so you can see this is your pinion right here, motor pinion, all right? Here's my battery tray. There's the border. Can you see what the problem is here? That when I actually put a battery on in this tray, that pinion is going to go numbing on my battery. Now, I actually had one battery in the past that actually got ruined. Not ruined, it got damaged by the pinion because it shifted forward a little bit and the pinion grabbed it and chewed on it a bit. One thing that I want to do, and I'm not going to take credit for this idea because my buddy Paul actually came up with this idea, and sure enough, about 2 days later, another YouTuber called German RC Playground, he actually got the same car and he did the mod that I thought of. Now, I never discussed this mod with him, so he obviously had the same idea. And this is something that I can do on this car. I don't think I could have done it on the Buggy 8 because of the way that the body was designed. It sort of tapered down towards the end. But I think I can do it on this one without any problems because I know he's done it. And that is to remove the battery tray on this side. So where the pinion is, that motor side, take that off and actually modify the tray on this side to house two 2S packs. So that way I should have less dramas with the packs kind of getting damaged by the pinion gear. That's what I'm hoping to do. But even on the opposite side, I can see here, you know, the spur gear is also very close to the tray. So you can see there's really not a lot of room here. I'm not entirely sure why this is, why Ofna, Team C, or even Hobby King allowed this to happen, because it's quite dangerous to have a lipo so close to a moving part that will cause so much damage. Especially if you're going to be using soft packs. Hard case packs may obviously, you know, if they get nicked by the pinion or the spur gear, they'll obviously, you know, they're a little bit more resilient because they're a hard case, they're wrapped in plastic. But if you're going to use soft case packs, be very, very careful about how you strap them down, because this is obviously an issue. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You've got aluminium shock towers. The front shock tower is probably 5mm thick. It is very thick. But the rear shock tower is actually quite thin. I'm not sure why they would do that. I'm a little confused on this one. Of course, everything rides on a very nice aluminium chassis. It's quite a nice looking rally car. I really do like it. I'm a big fan of it. I just wish that they would have done something about the battery trays. I think this is one thing that if they could get this right somehow, you know, this would be a really, really good car to have straight out of the box. But to have to go and do modifications to prevent something like getting your lipos damaged, which can be quite catastrophic, that's really a bit of a worry. Now, it doesn't use pillow ball suspension type. It uses your standard C-hub and knuckle type of design on the front. It looks as though we have, yeah, we've got CVDs on the front. Universal's a little bit different. CVDs on the front and standard dog bones in the rear. Pretty standard affair there. There's nothing different about that one. A little bit of play in the steering, but it's not bad. You know, it's actually pretty good. It's acceptable. A little bit of play in the rear as well, but again, acceptable. Nothing out of the ordinary. Pretty beefy body posts. I'm impressed with these body posts actually. It's very nice. All right, I think I've covered pretty much everything. Two things that really show some concern to me is obviously the batteries and how close they sit to the gears. That's a big issue. And the other thing that I'm not a fan of is this remote. As I said, with the Sandstorm, which is a cheaper, smaller car, aimed at kids, that's their demographic. This makes sense. It's a small remote, fits in small hands. But to put it on a big 1/8 scale car like this, I mean, come on, that's just not right. I don't see that as being accurate. Aside from that, love the scale details, wipers, mirrors, little antennas, although I do wish they would have had these separately. Tires, I think, I'm not sure how these are going to hold up as far as rallying goes. They're obviously going to offer a lot of slip and give. I don't know how this is going to be as far as drifting goes, because most of these diffs come fairly open, so there's probably going to be a little bit of tuning to do with the diffs in order to get this to really drift out correctly and perform the way that I want it to perform. So there's that I'm going to have to be looking into. But the tyres are definitely going to have multiple purpose use, because I'm going to be using it for my speed runs on my buggies, which is great. ESC is 120 amp. Would have preferred this to be more 6S ready, but hey, you know, for the price, I think it's fine. I think these guys go for about, I think it's around about $400 Australian. So, and that's with the ready to run, which is not bad. Obviously, it doesn't come with batteries or chargers. There's none here, so you'll need to get those. Adjustable body post, I'm really happy with. The beefy links, aluminium shock towers. Does have 3mm chassis, which is fine, it's pretty standard. Aluminium shocks, which is also a plus, although I do feel that they could have used probably taller springs in this. It feels like the springs are a little bit short, both front and rear. You know, just a few millimeters longer would have been nice. But then maybe that's just the ideal setup that they're going for. They want the car to sort of sink a little bit. Hey, suspension out of the box feels really stiff. Feels like it's underdamped and oversprung. So I'll run the car as it is, and then obviously I'll do my tuning accordingly. And it's got, you know, beefy center drive shafts. I like that the center diff is actually housed on this side with an aluminium support as opposed to the plastic, which I'm 99% sure that the Buggy 8 came with a plastic one on this side. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. Front, rear sway bars pre-installed. There's a lot of good things here. There's a couple of things that you really need to keep an eye out for. But there is definitely a lot of good things here, and I'm very much looking forward to throwing a couple of batteries in this guy and just seeing how it performs out in the field. And can I put the body on? Yes, I can. There we go. I may need to kind of ream these holes for the body posts. They feel a little tight, so might just widen them out a little bit. And that's it. There we go. The 1/8 scale Hobby King Basher Rally car. It looks absolutely stunning. I really like the look of this thing. It's huge. It's probably the biggest road car that I've ever had. It looks bigger than a short course truck because it's so tall and it just, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it here. Thank you all very much for watching. Please be sure to check out the video description for more information on the rally car. Also a link to my Facebook page if you want to go there and give that a like. Keep you a couple of steps ahead of what goes on here on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the like button if you liked the video, or hit thumbs down if you didn't. And that is it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you guys next time.